Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the SQ1 Champions League. I'm, of course, Will Viper in Whittingham, and I'm joined by Byron Villa-Faulkner once again. 2 weeks in a row, we're coming at you again. And today we've got a very exciting set of matches in both Series 1 and Series 2. But of course, that doesn't matter right now, because right now we're talking about the first match of the day, which is Korean Rejects versus Prototype. I'm so excited, Villa. I'm just so happy.
I am so excited for this match. Two teams, both 0-6 right now. One of them will win tonight, and this will be the turning point for them. One of them could possibly go on a win streak and get themselves back up into playoff contention. But a lot of these teams have had problems. I think Korean Rejects, in general, their players haven't been. A lot of people have been very critical of them, and they haven't been necessarily strong enough. Whereas on the other side of the rift, you look at a team like Prototype, and they have done decent in the lanes. They've managed to hold their own very well. The problem is, it's out of laning phase. They've looked lost. And I want to see how these two teams are going to try and approach playing against each other, knowing that this is very much a must-win match. If you're looking at the playoffs and you don't win this match, it's going to be looking a little bit grim.
Yeah, it will be quite problematic. Both of these teams, obviously, they are 0-6, as you've said, meaning that today is their biggest opportunity to grab a win. I've been looking at it as, with either of these teams, I think it's fair to say, seeing what we've seen from them in the past few weeks, any kind of win that they're going to get against any other team in this league can be seen as a kind of upset. Maybe with Prototype a little bit less, you've got a couple of higher elo players, but with Korean Rejects especially, this is their best opportunity in order for them to go forward and get a win. And if they lose this game, then you're going to really have to start looking and saying, well, if they can't get a point here, if they can't get a win here, where are they going to get that point? And it's going to be difficult for them to see. And of course, macro play is going to play such an important role in this one. Looking at these two rosters, we are just waiting to see. We're just waiting for a player to come in, which is why we've got a little bit of a wait. Hopefully, they'll be all right and they'll be able to get here relatively soon. But looking down these rosters, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at these rosters and any changes that have come through. What do you make of them, if you've had a look?
Well, I've had a little bit of a look. I was looking at them, particularly Prototype's performance last week, and it wasn't too hot, I'll be honest. They really did not do well. And the person who I want to look at, I believe they were playing, was Yariat in the mid lane. And he didn't have a great performance in those two games, but he is a decently aggressive player. And considering now, instead of being against the likes of, I believe, Algama, they were against last week, they're now against Korean Rejects. And I feel like Yariat, he's hit a little bit of a roadblock in confidence. I want to see him pick something aggressive and take it to Hazard Beast. If Prototype are going to win this game, it's going to be for the early game. We saw their macro decisions not be too good, so I want to see them pick early game champions and snowball, end the game out cleanly, and not hit that kind of 30 to 40 minute mark where you're trying to bounce around, vision dance, all that kind of thing, because that can be very hard for a team who isn't as experienced in the macro department. So I want to see someone like Yariat really step up, try to impact the map, roam a lot, try and get leads everywhere else. And it's going to be between Yariat and Criminal Boy 95 just to get those leads in the side lanes.
Yeah, I think that's going to be such an important area and aspect. Of course, what I want to be looking at really is the top lane this time round. We've got Korean Rejects have made some substitutions. They're making some roster changes. And their usual top laner is actually not going to be playing today. And they've subbed in a new player, Pike Sin, who's coming into the starting lineup. But Pike Sin is, as you can probably suggested from the name, is actually a Nami player. And is actually a support player. So bringing in two spots. Obviously, you've got Water Lily there as well. It's going to be interesting to see how they move their roster around to have someone in the top lane where they don't necessarily have a top lane player who's very well-versed in that role. Of course, you're going to be going up against Demi, who is probably the highest, in fact, is the highest ranked player in this game and the highest ranked player on Prototype Diamond 2. Very strong player and a top lane main. Is Demi going to be able to just run over this game, play something split pushy and just go for it, or play something that's really dominant and get a massive lead? Or is Korean Rejects going to pull something out of the bag that's going to be really spectacular and is going to really upset what I think we expect quietly? I think we can both expect Prototype to be the slightly better team. But of course, both teams are 0-6, so something has to be going a bit wrong with Prototype. Otherwise, they'd be able to pick up some results here and there.
Yeah, I think I've heard whispers in the wind about Demi's Yorick and it being a very, very strong pick for him. Now, if he's able to get on that, and he's able to get a lead, it essentially means that Korean Rejects instantly have to make macro decisions very, very fast. Because if you try and engage around Baron or get some vision and try and hover around. The more you do that, if there's in the head of Yorick in the side lane, he will just push it in slowly but surely. And you need to force a play, otherwise you're going to lose tower after tower after tower. I've seen it happen again and again and again with the Yorick pick. Any kind of top laner, if he gets ahead and he's able to be in the side lane, it will cause so many problems for the team in terms of macro decisions that I want to see him honestly send Sean Slays up to the top lane and try and stop Demi from getting that lead against Waterloo. Actually, I don't know if they're in order yet, but I'm going off the LCS order.
From my notes, it's gonna be Hazard Beast in the jungle for Korean Rejects today, from what I can see. But again, with that substitution coming in, it might be a bit of a roster mix-up. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are just having a bit of a roster problem over on the side of Korean Rejects right now. So we are just waiting for that to be resolved, which is why you're just hearing us, our lovely voices going on and on about stuff rather than going into picks and bans which haven't started yet. But yeah, looking at these two teams, how are teams going to what's going to happen after this game if Korean Rejects, where's that going to put the league itself? Where is that going to put Prototype? Because they're obviously going to be bottom 07 with Korean Rejects going 1-6 if Korean Rejects did win, or vice versa. If you're going 0-7 after this game, do you think that is that just going to crush your spirit, or is that going to kind of invigorate you to try and go harder at maybe some of the teams that are a little bit higher up?
I think it's going to really hurt whoever loses this, because for a lot of the other games, the teams are very good in this competition. So losing to like the mid-table team still isn't a bad thing. But when you're sat there and you lose to the other team who's supposed to be as bad as you, in quotation marks, it's going to really hurt team morale. I think you could try and spin it and so you can bounce back. But ultimately, if you're staring down an 0-7 record, and like, let's say, I assume if you're going to lose one today, you're probably going to lose the other. You're going to be staring down, an 0-8 record? You do not want to be staring down that, because then you have to win a lot of games in a row in order to get yourself back up to playoff contention. And whilst it has happened before, I have seen Cinderella stories happen. This is the kind of game that will take someone down straight to defeat.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I like to spin it that like this can be the invigorating injection of power that needs to be happening to either of those teams. But it could just be a death toll for either of these teams. And of course, there are teams that are in this league that are maybe not as good. Like, I don't know whether saying with these records as they are, Korean Rejects and Prototype haven't won a game yet. But you've got teams like OG who haven't really won a game yet. They've got a bye win somewhere. You've got teams like Unknown Enemy who are looking. They're having some internal problems at the moment, which means that they're having to forfeit games around the place as well. It's not just these two teams that aren't in that top echelon. Of course, you can put someone like Korean Rejects or even Prototype. You put it into Laogan Ma, or you put it against actually CBA. You put them against Ice Wolves. They're gonna lose. Like there's not really like there's gonna have to be a massive upset for there to be a difference. And I've just been kicked out of the lobby, which is not a great side. But you go against one of these massive teams, you're not expected to win. But in this game, you look at the ranks and again, you think Korean Rejects going to be really up against it. But the records are the same. These teams come in on the same slate. And hopefully we're going to see something, not necessarily we want to see a Korean Rejects win, of course, we're unbiased. But we want to see something explosive. We want to see both teams really go out there and try and prove to us and prove to the fans and prove to the other teams in the league that they are not just down and dead. They're not just going to be that team that goes, and whatever, and then is having to battle themselves in relegation. They want to be a team that's up there and fighting for their survival.
Well, I have some bad news for Korean Rejects fans. They haven't been able to get a hold of their fifth player. So from what they've been told, I think they have to FF the game. So that's very sad. But we are still allowed to have a practice game on stream if we're able to grab a full player. So the likelihood is we'll still have a game for you guys to watch. But unfortunately, it is going to be an FF for the side of Korean Rejects, I believe. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that does suck. But hopefully we'll be able to still see these two teams play. I believe it was Korean Rejects mid laner who was unable to attend this game, and they didn't have any subs on their roster who could sign up. So if you're out there and you're looking for a team, make sure to call up Korean Rejects. They're looking for a couple of subs who can sub in. But yeah, that's unfortunate. But that does mean that Prototype go into the same barrel as kind of OG, where we're not technically, in terms of the actual tournament itself, we haven't seen Prototype will not be at the bottom, but we have with win, so they've got one win, but we haven't seen them win yet. The same with OG, we haven't seen them win yet, as far as I'm aware. Meaning that they're still. You can look at the roster record and say, okay, they're better than Korean Rejects, but they haven't proved that. And I think it's very dangerous when you have teams getting these bye wins or getting wins because teams forfeit or don't field off players. And then they think that they're better than the teams that haven't won yet, but really it's just scheduling or it's just player issues that have made them better or worse. So hopefully we're going to see a scrim now to see if Korean Rejects can prove that they actually deserve that point, even though they won't actually get it.
And what's exciting now is that, sure, it's kind of sad that they've lost the match, but what is good is that now these players, whilst they may have had a little bit of pressure on them, they may have felt a little bit shackled, they're not going to be like that anymore, and I'm expecting very explosive play come out from both these teams because there are no holds barred to this match now. They're going to be going all out, so
it's going to be an absolute fiesta.
Yeah, I'm expecting aggressive picks across the board, big fights, like constantly. Rest in peace, your voice, my friend. Because,
goodness me, it's fine. I don't need to talk for the next couple of days of work anyway. I'll just sit there silently, and just do what I need to do. The code apparently still works, so I'm just gonna be trying to get back into this game while we talk through. But yeah, no, hopefully we're going to get maybe some more interesting picks. Hopefully there'll be some pocket picks going down. Maybe there won't be so many targeted priority bans going forward. Maybe they might be a bit of a troll in the ban phase so that we get to see some really powerful picks on 9.3. And we can see these great champions being played by players who mechanically, we're going to be realistic. These players are mechanically they're sound. They're quite good players. We've seen both Korean Rejects and Prototype in the course of the play-ins and the tournament itself. They've had leads in the early game. It's really the macro gameplay where it's fallen apart. And if neither team knows how to do the macro gameplay properly, or if neither team has been doing the macro gameplay properly, maybe we're going to see some quite interesting just teams just running at each other at Baron Pit, just smashing into each other top lane, roaming when they're not meant to be. And it could be really interesting to watch. And I hope you, as the color caster, is going to be able to explain exactly why every single thing has happened on the map.
Oh man, that's
it's going to be a good one to watch. I'm just really looking forward to it. Let me get into this one, but hopefully we'll be getting into this one in not too long, folks. This scrim game. If you're just joining us, Korean Reacts did unfortunately have to forfeit the game due to some issues with players not being available. But we are going to be able to watch a live scrim between the two teams as Korean Rejects are going to bring in a fifth player to come and sit in for them, meaning that we're still going to be able to watch the game. It's still going to be Korean Rejects versus Prototype, but it will not be important in terms of the standings technically because Korean Rejects have already forfeited, giving Prototype the win on this one.
Yeah, like I said though, I'm so excited to see players because you're coming to this kind of match, like we were talking about beforehand, it's a lot of pressure because if you lose this match, it's a real wounder. But what would be the best of both worlds is that if Korean Rejects, whilst they go 0-7, like the best scenario is sure you 0-7 now, but if you pick up the win here, you know you're good enough to at least take down Prototype, and it can give you that bit of confidence that you need. So it is still an important win for Korean Rejects, despite the fact that is the case. So I am looking forward to seeing what they're going to do here, if they can still get that spark of life, because it was said by, I believe, Hasselbeast himself in the chat, well, this one's for Pride. So they are still going to be looking to boost their self-confidence.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a case of getting that confidence and getting that ability to say, okay, we can go toe-to-toe with Prototype. And if you look at Prototype, the difference between Prototype, UE, OG, these teams are not that technically different in terms of the player level, the ability, the results they've been having. So even though you've lost this game because you didn't have your mid lane, and maybe next week if they go against someone like UE or OG, they can say, okay, we had a really good go against Prototype in that scrim. What's to say that we can't go and beat UE with their internal problems right now? Who says we can't beat OG who haven't really won a game yet? Who's to say we can't try and upset someone like Free Krugs who have been a bit inconsistent as of late? You've got the sky's the limit for Korean Rejects on this one. And the sky's the limit when they're going to go through picks and bans as well. We have got their fifth man in. I don't know if they're going to be an LEC order for picks and bans because of how full this channel is right now. But hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna get confused because I haven't much Korean. I think this is their first time on stream actually, as far as
Yeah,
I know.
this is their first. Apparently, I think this is their first streamed game ever.
Oh
From
wow!
what I've been told, so that's exciting for them, and it's us. They imagine being like, "Yeah, you're gonna get streamed. It's gonna be really cool. You're gonna be casted. It's gonna be on Twitch." And they're like, "Cool." It's like, "Who's casting?" It's like Viper and Villa, and they're like, "Oh, that's not Duckling."
Hey, don't say yourself short, my friend. We're pretty solid casters, but
I think we're all right. We're
yeah,
okay. We're okay.
we say words, they come out. You know,
Yep.
it's a
I
play. It's
use my
functional.
words. Just as one of my friends says, he's a diamond jungler, and I asked him, "How'd you get to I'm gold. He's diamond." I was like, "How'd you climb?" And he was like, "I just use my buttons. I just click my buttons and I win games."
Wow, I mean,
And he's
he's
not
not
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah, he's not incorrect. We are just waiting for a couple of things to be sorted out in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, if you're just joining us, Prototype have already got the win in this game as Korean Rejects were forced to forfeit due to a lack of players. But we talked to they talked between the two teams and the admins, and they decided that rather than just forfeiting and not doing anything and making guys wait for an hour, what we're going to do is we're going to have a live scrim going on right now. So we're going to have Korean Rejects versus Prototype. Korean Rejects will have a substitute in, and they're going to scrim on stream so we have something to talk over, and so that they can have a bit of fun and a bit of practice themselves as well, and they have something to look back on if they want to be doing some coaching or whatever. With a team like Korean Rejects, okay, this is an interesting question. How much does a coach impact this kind of team? Because I don't know how much competitive play you've been. I've done some play at about Korean Rejects level, and I know that having a little bit of coaching was really helpful for me. Do you think that Korean Rejects could benefit from having a coach or having their coach have more input into the team?
Coaches help so much. I mean, I'm in a team around that level too, and we've benefited so much from having a coach because it essentially means all these nagging macro issues you usually have. Like, it's not even necessarily micro, but when you're hovering around the Baron pit, you want to know: do I defend this vision? Do I back off? When do we do this? You can use scrim data or like your games like in the actual tournament, get them downloaded, send a replay to your coach, they'll VOD review it, and they'll tell you exactly what you did wrong, exactly where you need to improve, why that decision was bad, and you can discuss, okay, then should we have done this? And that kind of discussion in the middle of a team, if you have all 5 players there, can make sure that in these intense moments, all of you are on the same page, and that is so incredibly important. It is imperative.
Yeah, and I think macro, of course, as we said earlier, is really what Korean Rejects have been struggling with. Of course, they are across the board maybe a little bit lower in terms of elo than the other teams or the teams around them in this league, but it's really been the macro where they've been let down. And we are just getting in order now, ladies and gentlemen, so we can try and confirm where we think players are going to play for Korean Rejects. It's been a bit of a guessing game, of course, with the sub, but it looks like it's going to be Sean Slays in the top lane, Water Lily in the jungle, Asteroid mid with Hazarbeast and Pikesin in the bot lane. So we are seeing a bit of a mix up here. Of course, Hazarbeast, the usual jungler, is going to be going to marksman. Sean Slays, the usual marksman, is going top. Water Lily, the usual support, is going jungle. And we're seeing Pikesin, who was the sub initially, coming in to support with their emergency sub, but not really emergency sub, Asteroid, going into that mid lane. So it's only Hazarbeast who's playing in his... No, it's not even because Hazarbeast is the usual jungler. He's going ADC. No one's in their main positions as a normal Korean Rejects roster, but Pikesin is a support main. And I don't know where Asteroid usually plays because I haven't done my scouting on him. So we'll have to see.
Odds on Pike getting Bandle picked to this game, I think is pretty high.
I think it's gotta be like first ban territory for Prototype. You must think if someone has a character in their name, you've got to ban it out of respect, if nothing else.
But the question is Pike Sin, right? So what's happening with the Lee Sin here? I assume it's going to go Fred and not going to expect a Lee Sin support. But it's now that it's a fun game, like who's to say that Lee Sin support doesn't come out?
Maybe they play Lee. Maybe he plays Lee Sin if Pike is banned. Maybe that's
big brain.
Maybe that's the play. And we're going straight into picks and bans, ladies and gentlemen. Urgot is going to be the first one banned away, taking that one away from Prototype. You've got Korean Rejects on the blue side, Prototype on the red side, Vladimir also. Second ban coming across. Do you expect to see anything crazy in this pick and ban phase, or do you think it's going to be quite standard?
I reckon it'll be quite standard for both these teams. I think banning a few comfort picks is mainly what they're going to be looking at. I think, like you said, Pike's probably going to be took off the board, I imagine, because that is a very aggressive pick. And from what a lot of people have kind of said, Jungle Difference has had a bit of a troubling time in the bot lane. So being against a Pike would really, really hurt his chances because that Pike will catch you out at any little moment. You're just stepping a little far out of position. You will be punished.
Yeah, I think he will. It's interesting to look at Pike Sin. His name is Pike Sim, but Pike is not his most played
Oh,
support by any
wow.
means. That's an
Seriously?
Ari ban. No, he's a most played champion this season has been Nami, followed by Lulu. So playing these more
Oh.
not necessarily the defensive sit back Soraka Janna picks, but the kind of maybe slightly more damagey supporty picks. Your Namis, your Lulus, etc. Ari's going to be banned. Yorick banned away by Korean Regis. They don't want to see that in Demi. And also one interesting point to note before we go into the first round of picks. Sejuani banned out by Korean Rejects. That is Criminal Boy's main champion, so he's not going to be on that comfort pick this game.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the draft develops. What I'm expecting, if we are looking at Nami or Lulu in the bot lane, you want to see a hyper carry ADC come out. Something like the Jinx, which has been buffed on 9.3 with the item changes to the ADCs, I'd like to see come out. Maybe a Caitlyn, a Sivir, something that can really scale up and do a lot of damage. I like the Irelia here too, because he's a flex pick. Sure, whilst Irelia is in a decent position, but not an incredibly strong one right now, you can flex her about very, very nicely. She can go top, she can go mid. Honestly, Hazabeast, did you say was a top lane main? Well, I'm saying.
Beast is he's a jungle main.
Oh, he's a jungle main. Oh,
for Korean
rats.
Rejects, that is.
Oh.
Rats. Sean Slays is a marksman main, according to my in-depth data.
And the Xin Zhao and Lucy, those are two incredibly strong picks. And exactly what I was talking about in terms of prototypes win conditions, get everyone ahead early. A Lucian's going to win that bot lane no matter how well you spin it because it's a Lucian. Incredibly strong pick. And the Xin Zhao has one of the best priority just jewels and ganks in the jungle.
Ooh, that's an Evelyn pick coming in for Water Lily in the jungle. That's a pick that we don't see too often. Oh, this is going to be good. I'm excited for this one.
Oh man, we'll have to see how this one plays out. I'm surprised the Evelyn pick came in so early, but I guess you know the jungler. And Xin Zhao, I wouldn't say it's the best pick in Xin Zhao though, because Xin Zhao can invade you, and that could end very, very badly. And it's looking like prototype of setting themselves up to have lane priority. So it might be a bit of a rough early game for Water Lily, but if they can get out of it, then I imagine they'll be very good in those like moments. Well, it's like a Pike almost, where you're just sat there, nothing's really happening, and then this invisible person comes and kills you instantly.
He turns on and one-shots you and walks off, and you get really upset, and all your LP goes away. Yeah, no, I mean, never. That's never happened to me.
Oh yeah, no, that never happens to anyone.
God, don't relate. That doesn't happen every rank game I played in Season 7. But no, we saw the Zoe picked up, of course, by Korean Rejects as well. I would suggest that will probably be going towards Asteroid. Mindy Reddy is probably going to be sticking that top lane. Yariat rounding out with the Gangplank pick. Ash and Zed being the next two bands going off. I think it's going to be interesting. I think the Evelyn is an interesting pick in a game where we're expecting to see a little bit less macro and vision play. Because Evelyn, of course, is really done in if you can get in and ward into her jungle. But with teams that are less likely to do that, like Prototype, as we've seen before, they're less aggressive with their warding and their macro play. Maybe this Evelyn's going to be a little bit better for that. And is that a pick that they've made because Water Lily can play it? Or is that a pick they've made to try and take advantage of the fact that Prototype aren't that aggressive warding team that some other teams maybe are?
I think it's just Water Lily can play it, mainly because, like I said, I think that Prototype are looking for the priority in the lanes. I don't think Korean Rejects can expect to outplay them just straight up in the bot lane. So they will lose priority, and that will give Criminal Boy the room to head into the jungle. I have faith that he'll be able to invade. But as I say, the Rakan's been looked in. I'm not sure about the Gangplank, because that isn't exactly fitting the wing con, because he's going to be scaling up. Although he does have that global pressure. The Sivir does come out, though, that hyper carry ADC that we were on about. And I want to see Pike just look in like a Nami or a Lulu and just kind of let Hazabeast almost hyper carry this game, but we'll see what they choose to do.
Pike is also open. We did see Ash and Jinx being banned away alongside the Zed and LeBlanc in that last round of bans. And of course, the Ricard being locked in a little bit nerfed recently, but still that aggressive support can do a lot. And there we see the Nami, as we said, being suggested Pike's in favourite champion at the moment and bringing that in alongside Hazabeast Sivir to round out their composition. They've already picked it all. They don't have to swap. I like that. It makes life easier. We're just going to wait and see what Prototype bring in last.
It's a fairly solid comp from Korean Rejects. My only issue is that their only frontline is Irelia. and that's probably not a good thing, especially when Alessandra gets locked in as that insane engage. Plus for Rakan, I don't know how well they're going to be able to peel off that kind of engage, and I worry for them in terms of that. But because they have something like a Nami, it still has a lot of peel tools. It's just the problem is there's going to be no one there to just straight up be like a beefy sign and say, nope, you're not entering here, big stop sign. There isn't anyone like that on Korean Rejects, whereas on the other side, on Prototype, they do have Lysandra, they do have Rakan, and even Xin Zhao can fit this kind of function, where you kind of stand around the front of a team fight, you're like, you want to go anywhere near us, you're going to get engaged upon, don't come near us. And you just kind of stand around these objectives, and it's hard for anyone to do much.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting case to see this very prototype, this very early game kind of pressure comp with the Gangplank as well, giving global pressure and some late game. And the amount of engage they have is absolutely insane. If you're, as we say, rather than maybe going for disengage, then it's going to look to engage first or aggressively engage onto you if you try and engage onto them to give themselves the advantage. And then Korean Rejects, you've got the Civi, you've got the Zoe, there's a lot of pick potential, maybe a bit of Stampede potential as well. Are Korean Rejects going to be looking for a more pick-orientated comp, or do you think they're just looking for a team fighting kind of mishmash where they've got this Sivir and the Nami ultimate, and you've got Aurelia jumping around the back? What do you think Korean Rejects are really going to be playing towards in this game?
See, I'm not sure because their comp is telling me two different messages. I'm looking at the Sivir, the Nami, even kind of the Aurelia who'd be on the side that I imagine until the TP down, and I'm like, yeah, they have a decent team fight. But the Zoe and the Everton aren't known for team fighting. They're known for, well, Zoe's known for poking and sitting around the edge of a team fight until you can get them to half health, then you force an engage. Problem is, there's not really many people in Korean Rejects who can force an engage. On the other side, Evelyn's just there to one-shot people and get out. And whilst that can be a very useful thing if the Lucian's overstepping a little bit, the problem is that I look on every single member of Prototype's team, and they're going to be getting a fair bit tanky. Even Lucian is one of the tankier ADCs. He builds stuff like the Black Cleaver sometimes if he chooses to, and he can get very big and burly. Xin Zhao is going to be naturally tanky. He's a bruiser. Gangplank's going to be getting a little bit tanky. Lysandra is Lysandra. You're never going to kill that thing. And Rakan can bounce around everywhere and is fairly tanky too. So I don't know who this Evelyn is going to probably one-shot when it comes to like the 30-minute mark. If they're going to be fighting around an objective, it's only going to be a case of trying to find a really cool flank, kind of spooking one of the players.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Korean Rejects decide to play this comp. They've got lots of different pieces, but they're not all from the same puzzle. And it's whether they're going to be able to smack these pieces together, hammer them in, maybe cut some edges off some of them to get them to all put together, or if it's just going to fall apart. And of Prototype, you can see their comp. You can see what they want to do. They want to engage. They want to roll over you early. They want to fight and they want to kill you. Whereas Prototype kind of, they want to poke you down a little bit so the Evelyn can come in and assassinate you, or they kind of want to stampede towards you with their Nami and their Sivir, and they want the ability to be split pushing and then teleporting in and then jumping around here, there, and everywhere. But Prototype's comp is very coherent, and I don't know how they're going to be able to do that unless they get a lead early. And if Prototype don't get the lead early, obviously we're saying they should be having lane priority, they should be the more aggressive team, they should be winning these lanes. If Prototype don't do that, then Korean Rejects could just roll with it. And with someone like Sivir and Zoe, these two champions, we've seen Zoe's one-shot people in LEC and LCS. We've seen Sivir's just do so much damage in team fights, especially with those changes to her Q, which means that she does more damage to champions with it. If Korean Rejects can get going, not only does that mean that they're going to have more, it means that Prototype isn't going to be having as much as they want to, and their comps might just fall apart.
Yeah, I will say, I'm surprised they put Lysandra into the Zoe, as it is a Zoe favorite matchup. She has the range advantage, she can poke you out very easily. If you roam, she has decent push, so... and it's very hard for Lysandra to do much in that matchup, but Lysandra can roam, and that's the scary thing about this Lysandra, the Gangplank. You can, if you get like Xin Zhao and Lysandra ganking bot lane, getting a big play on top of a Gangplank ultimate, all of a sudden, that bot lane is very much over. You've got a big kill lead, everyone's got themselves assists, and that gold is spread very well across the team. That's kind of the early play you're expecting to see out of Prototype, which is how our Korean Rejects going to respond to something like that happening.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. That is going to be probably the defining factor of this game, is how Korean Rejects going to make their team comp meld together and how Prototype are going to be able to either play their own game or react to it. We're just going to have a quick rundown of the teams while we're in the loading screen, ladies and gentlemen. So on the blue side, we have Korean Rejects playing for pride and playing for just passion and love of the game, I guess. With the top lane, we've got Sean Slays playing Aurelia. In the jungle, we've got Water Lily taking on Tango Evelyn. Asteroid is going to be playing Zoe mid. Hazarbeast is going to try to be victorious on this Sivir. And we've got Pyke Singh playing his favorite Nami in the bot lane. And over on the red side, we have Prototype. I've already got the win in this one, but looking to scrimmage show that they definitely would have got this win regardless of had there been an FF or not. In the top lane, they've got Demi on Gangplank. Xin Zhao is going to be piloted by Criminal Boy in the jungle. The Soldier is going to be played by Yariot in the mid lane. Jungle Difference Victim is on that Lucian. And rounding it all out is Mechna playing Cosmic Dawn Rakan. Some very nice skins coming forward in this game.
I will say, thanks to the new loading screen, a lot of people say mastery doesn't matter, and I would agree with them for the most part in terms of the actual levels. But Demi nearly has 1 million points on this Gangplank. You know what that tells us? He's played a lot of Gangplank in this time. He's played a very decent amount of Gangplank. He knows how this champion works. And now I worry for Sean Slays, because Gangplank is one of those champions where he has a very high skill. Skillful. It's hard to really get onto the level where you're going to be good with him, but that skill scaling is incredibly high, and the more people play a Gangplank, the better they get. And now Demi, if he has that many points on the Gangplank, I'm expecting him to do really well, because a good Gangplank can tear a team apart.
Yeah, you do sometimes see games where nothing really happens for 15-20 minutes, and then Gangplank just wanders down to your lane and one-shots you. And you think, how is this happening? You look at his items and he's got all the money in the world. And if Demi's going to be able to effectively farm using those barrels, effectively poke using those barrels, not only does that mean that he's going to be getting very strong, he's going to be trying to lock out this Aurelia from the game. And if Aurelia's locked out, there suddenly becomes no frontline for Korean rejects. And Aurelia on her own anyway isn't a traditional frontline kind of champion. Of course, she jumps in and she fights and she can get a bit juggernauty, a bit beefy. She's not the same traditional kind of tank. And when you've got nothing else going for you, if she's out of the game and she can't get those tanky items, or she can't get to a point where she can survive a little bit of damage, Korean Reject is going to have real problems.
Yeah, I honestly I'm expecting this to go the way of Prototype, just because I prefer their composition a lot more. There's so many more things they can. But how can I put it? Like you were talking about the Korean Reject comp being a lot of pieces to different puzzles, and I feel like there are more pieces to a certain puzzle who can actually sit and develop different puzzles at the same time. So there's 3 or 4 champions that can fit into multiple different molds, whereas on Korean Rejects there's at maximum there's 3, if that fit into a certain thing composition. And that's what I kind of worry about, because there can be very clear win conditions on the side of Prototype. You look at the Sandra, Rakan, Xin Zhao, with Lucian behind them. And that's suddenly, you've got a great hard engage comp with Gangplank on the side lane. Incredible. Also, if you want to play front to back, you can. You have that option. You have the Gangplank's going to be a very big hyper carry. You have the Sandra and Xin Zhao and Rakan who can get a sit at the front of a fight. So there's so many ways we can play that. To the other side, I'm struggling to find a way in a 5v5 scenario where they really do well. And that's probably the answer to it. They want to pick. They don't want to fight. Even though they have a Sivir and Nami, those are great 5v5 champions. They're just going to be looking for picks, mainly.
Yeah, I think they're going to be looking for these picks. And are maybe using these more team fight orientated traditional skills like your Sivir ultimates, your Nami ultimates. Maybe they're going to try and repurpose these skills to find these picks in the more mid game. Maybe not looking to fight, but maybe let's speed up this Evelyn and this Aurelia onto a pick. Let's try and catch them out with all the CC on a single person, and then try and hope that we can turn that into something else rather than saving all these for a team fight. But we are seeing traditional lines of scrimmage coming into this one as we get into the game. We're going to see red starts from both junglers, meaning that Waterly should have a bit of advantage on the poll because there are more people helping her more than anything.
Yeah, and it's good to kind of start now. Then you want to just see before the level 6 mark, she's just going to be clearing out the jungle, going back, clearing out the jungle until you hit level 6. Now, what's hurt Evelyn recently is that the jungle changes have made it a lot harder to hit that level 6 mark as fast because of the XP changes. So she's going to have to farm up that little bit extra, and that's going to cause a lot of problems because Criminal is going to have that extra bit of time to just walk around the map, get control of the scope grabs, and if you give Xin Zhao control of the river, the priority, he's going to use it, and it's going to be incredibly scary for players like Hazarbeast and Pikes in the bot lane to try and avoid those ganks.
Yeah, I think you're giving Xin Zhao priority in lanes that are already probably meant to win. I mean, just saying that winning lanes in bot lane especially if you're giving him the priority there, then that's going to give Lucian and Rakan just loads of ability to just go off, do what they want, not really fear ganks because the Evelyn's not going to be able to do too much. And then it could just become very problematic because if Prototype, as we keep saying, if they win this early game, if they get what they need to do, then Korean Rejects are going to have to play extremely well or pull something crazy out of their back pocket, or they're just going to fall apart. And their team comp already has been with more questions than answers. And I'm really looking forward to just watching this game and seeing, do they have the answers or do they not? As we see a little bit of a fight going on in bot lane as Lucian gets taken down to half health with a nice played bubble from Pyxon.
Yeah, we actually saw Zinjao try and go for an engage there, but luckily enough, both laners, Asteroid and Shawnslade, made a move in response, and it made sure that Corona Boy couldn't get hold of that blue buff, which is so key for Evelyn, and he's forced to back off, which is unfortunate for him because he just got this priority. He went for the invade, but goes a little bit too aggressive, and now he's kind of stuck clearing his Krugs, and it's a bit unfortunate because now Waterlily's got a level 3, she's 20 CS right now, gonna back off and probably go head down to her Krugs, do a full clear, and nothing's really happened to stop her.
There's a bit of a fight going on in top lane. Demi and Shun quite low, but they both got a corrupting pot to keep them going. Shawnslade's actually might be having a bit of the best time in terms of engagement, but you can see the farm difference is always starting to grow. 10 farm over onto the side of Demi in the top lane on that Gangplank. And of course, with Gangplank, farm needs a little bit more because you're going to be getting those serpents for your ultimate stacks, for your ultimate upgrade, I should say. And you're also getting a little bit more gold with that parlay. So Gangplank really enjoys gold, is what I'm trying to say, non-succinctly, as we see a bit of a fight coming out in bot lane as we see Jungle Difference moving in. Nectar's still fighting, he's moving quite low, good enough to jump out there. Rakan is such a slippery bugger when he wants to be, and there's not going to be too much going down. It's quite safe to engage on Rakan as long as you've got a way out.
Yeah, and now we start to see some members moving towards the bot side. We have Waterlily in the river getting control of the Scuttle Crab. We saw Asteroid briefly head down to help him out of that. And now they're actually starting to threaten Jungle Difference in terms of the fact that they were able to put a bit of damage down on him, and that's kind of scary. The issue is that they used all their mana for that, and now they're sat there, a low mana Sivir, a low mana Nami.
We might see them get punished for that. Hands going to be ignited. He's going to be taken quite low. The auto attack's going to land. He's going to go down. First blood going over to Jungle Difference. I don't think Pike is going to be caught, as Demi might be looking to die in return, but is low enough, hits that level 5, should be okay. Shawnslade's not looking for anything aggressive, but as Caster's Curse, you clearly know what you're talking about, as the low mana Sivir gets taken down, and it's going to be Lucian picking up first place.
Yeah, and there you see what Lucian can do. Lucian Rakan engages for you, Lucian heads in, burns his cooldowns, takes out half your health, goes back, do it again, you're dead. And that's essentially what happened there. 2 rotations of Lucian damage, you're done so. And now actually Hazabeast had to burn both his summoners too at the same time. So now they can punish that with a Rakan engage, and they know that Hazabeast's only way out is with a very nice spell shield.
Yeah, awesome counter CC from the Nami. Of course, we did see Lucian use up both his summoners as well, and we saw Rakan using it in the night. So Prototype only have the flash down there on the Rakan, which does make engaging quite a lot easier for that Rakan, but Pyxon also has the flash ignite, so there is summoner advantage over onto the side of Korean Rejects now in the bot lane. Are we going to see Waterlily try and take advantage of this, or do we think that it's not going to be in a gankable position for her too much? Now, especially now that Lucian has gone back and got those boots. As for your fight breaking down, Waterlily might have overstepped her. She's going to be forced to flash away from Criminal Boy, who is a level lower but does have full health. Flash burn quite epic.
I don't know what Waterlily was doing there, I'll be honest. You're an Evelyn, you're not supposed to be invading, and oh, there's the Zoe matchup into the Sandra right there. Just showcased perfectly. You can't E away from an E when you've already been hit by one. And so the Super Trouble connects, take the poke, and the thing is, Zoe's also in a really annoying position because of her range. It's so hard to engage on. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
It's so hard to engage on, as Zoe gets engaged on the thing for the flash away, but puts a lot of damage onto the Zinzao, saying, okay, you forced my flash, now get out of my lane and don't come back.
Well then, yeah, a bit of a bad call there, but they do take a lot of damage on return, and that's the thing, like, sure you bend a flash, but you're going to take a lot of damage for it. And what's surprising me the most is that this Evelyn's took a farm lead with Xinjiang not really doing much, and I don't really like that. I feel like if you're supposed to be the Xinjiang, you need to have the priority of the pre-6 to be able to move about and really do a lot of damage, but he hasn't really done much, and left a lot for me to be decided now. What he's slowly but surely entering the level 6 mark, and Evelyn at level 6 is very scary because that's when she gets the invis unlocked.
Yeah. It's going to be scary for when this Evelyn can go invisible. She's got an ultra, which is a lot of damage, and quite a safe tool to use while fighting because it's also an escape. And Xin Zhao, it looks like he's been listening because he's about to be moving top. Trying to get something here. Sean Slays is already quite low. Demi's not going to be stunned up by that one. Sean Slays is going to use Ultimate. This might not be enough. He's going to be knocked down by Yari, who's then going to take the kill as Xin Zhao moves away Criminal Boy with the perfect try in the top lane as we see them go down. But now Punkton and Hazmies are looking for revenge as we see the Ignite fall down. But Ricardo's going to be able to jump over the wall and then jump to his friend. It might not be finished yet as Mekla might go low. Hazardbeast is looking for a fight, but he's going to be taken down to half health. That's not quite a lot down. As we Water Lily and Asteroid moving up towards the top lane. It's all action now as we just move our vision to the bot lane for a moment before Asteroid coming back up strong in the top lane. It looks like it's going to quieten down. There was a lot of... They were threatening a lot, but there was only one kill there, and it came in the top lane. As we see Piketon coming down, trying to actually send it, but it's not going to be enough. Piketon is going to go very, very low. He's going to use that Tsunami to try and do some damage and to disengage. Now Hazby's he's going to be ignited. He's going to be taking low. It's going to be Ricard getting that one with the Ignite. And I think Hazby's thought he had more damage than he did, or more support than he did, but Nami was forced to back away with very little health and might still be in trouble if Sean Slays and Demi going it from the top lane. Demi's using that on, but Sean Slays is probably going to be going down. He's got the corrupting pot there, but one minute has to stand up. It's a little bit too late though. Sean Slays goes down, but now 1 minute he might be looking for the damage. Oh, it's not going to be enough. 1 minute he's not going to grab that kill. It's now 4 kills over the side of Prototype, and I'm going to stop talking so I can have a drink.
Yeah, rest in peace, your voice after that one. You had to play 2 fights at the same time. That very rough. But we first will see the Lucian getting another kill onto Hazardbeast. Very good play by the Lucian Buchanan. And you see the ability of them to just engage, disengage, engage again. It's very obnoxious to deal with. And then Demi on the gangplank gets a 1v2 kill essentially. Like, well, gets a 1v1 and then has to back off because of the other one. But great play by him, showing his gangplank prowess. And now they're going to reap a Cloud Drake as his reward, and that's going to really, really help him in this top lane, because sure, he already has the W, the Scurvy, but now also he's able to get an extra little bit of regen in that lane, and it all of a sudden means that he can be a little bit more aggressive in the top side now, knowing that, okay, I took a lot of damage, oh well, I back off, recover a little bit of the health, you know, it's all fine, it's all Gucci, and Allison Drake's so pivotal for that top lane because now Sean Slays he's going to be staring down a very, very difficult matchup.
He's already 0-2. He's already been the victim of several ganks and several not favourable trades going into Gangplank. Gangplank is also a little bit ahead in the farm, but not actually as much as it was. Sean Slays has managed to bring it back a little bit.
Well, you say that. Look at that big wave that just stacked up that he's going to catch him.
Yeah, that's if Demi can get it. As Sean Slays looks like he might be looking to fight to try and prevent it, but he might be... Oh, you missed the ultimate there, Sean, and now you're going to have to run away. Demi is going to be chasing you down. You've looked up the front line, but it might not be enough. Demi is going to look to dodge the sun, and he does so. He's going to go down. Sean Slays being taken down by Demi, 0-3-0 now, and now we're going to see the farm lead might increase. Asteroid looks like he wants to go to Yarrett, but he's not there for that skill shot. He doesn't have the damage or the confidence too. And Criminal Boy was there anyway, so maybe it's not a fight that he really wanted to take.
Holy moly, and yeah, Gangplank's at the point now. Usually you expect him to scale, but the fact that he's actually winning the lane too makes him a very, 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 very scary champion to deal with, because usually he'd hit his big like 3-item power spikes, 4-item power spikes in the mid to late, but now he's working on that Triforce. He's going to get there very, very soon. He is sitting on about 800 gold right now alongside what he has already, so I wouldn't be surprised. And a few more tower platings, a few extra little bit of CS, catch in and get a Triforce by like 12-13 minutes, and that's just horrid.
That is not going to be fun for Sean Slays to play into on this Aurelia, and the choices that Sean Slays has been making to engage in this league when he has have been a little bit questionable. I think we can say, obviously, there have been times where he's been forced into fights like the Tower Dive, he was forced into fighting, but as soon as following up, using that ultimate, missing the ultimate, and then still being so far extended and on less health than your lane opponent, and the lane opponent having more farm than you, it's going to be problematic, and I think it just cost him there with his third death.
Yeah, and now I think Sean Slays needs to reevaluate how it's now play this top lane. Because usually you want to get your
engagement from Mecca is using the ultimate. The spell shooter's going to land, so Hasbeast is going to be charmed away, and they're going to be forced back. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Anyways, as I was so rudely interrupted by a Rakan engage, as I'm sure that bot lane felt, it was very, very rude. Oh, never mind.
Oh, now you're being interrupted by a Lissandra being engaged. I'm using your honest other.
Oh no!
It's going to be Pikesing going down fast. Hasbeast is probably close to his tower, so it won't matter too much. His neck doesn't look like he wants to die, but I'm not seeing anything happening really. But Wannalee is going to be forced to run away as Lissandra looks to follow. Hasbeast is going to be using that boomerang to kill those minions, as Wannalee is going to keep running away. I don't know where the camera wants to take me right now. I'm going to see Criminal Boy just doing those raptors. Again, a lot of action looked like it was going to take place, but there weren't actually too many kills going down with Pikesing being.
We're going on a roller coaster ride with this camera. He doesn't know where to look. We didn't know where to look. Oh man, it's an explosive game. But
I know where to look. Oh, what?
Oh my god.
Red buff. To be fair, tactical. Zinzal was in this area. Zinzal would have probably caught her and killed her. So that's smart. That is a quicker read.
But didn't she just like? I think Zinzal got there to like grab the red buff before it reset.
Yeah.
I think she just leashed red buff for Zinzal and died for it.
But she didn't get away the kill.
Yeah, and well, sure, but like either way, like, you're Evelyn. You're invisible. You can sneak out.
What? Yeah, I think that an argument could be made. An argument could be made that the Evelyn could have maybe not died to the red buff. But again, Zinzal did not pick up that kill. So Evelyn is fine and dandy. We see two towers going down while we're talking about that, top and bot. Bot going down first, top going second. Prototype grabbing both of those.
Oh my god, I just looked at the gold lead. Oh my.
There is, I was going to say, there's about a 6.5k gold lead over Prototype at 14 minutes, but I don't have a but for that actually. I think Prototype are really taking this game by the scruff of the neck. I'm looking and hoping that Korean Rejects have something in their pocket for the mid game. And what I am looking at actually, if we're going to look at something that could maybe be the solution, I'm looking at this Zoe in the mid lane.
Out of interest, is that because she's the only member that hasn't died yet?
Well, I mean, if you're not counting Execute, Waterloo hasn't died either.
I'm counting that one, buddy.
So, two of them haven't died yet, but I might have spoken a bit too soon as Jungle Difference jumped to the water and she's very squishy, she's going to go down. Casting Curse, I'm so sorry. Asteroid might be the next victim and we're going to jump away to the bot lane. Asteroid's going to be running away. Asteroid, no. No, Asteroid, no. A Jungle Difference splashes forward. I've just ruined it for everyone. Both members go down. Two more kills for Prototype. They get a tower as well, and they're going to look to push on to the second one.
And you know, I have to admit, all the Prototype are actually playing really. I don't know, but well, I think a lot of it you can kind of attribute to Korean misplays. But I will say, Yariat has done a really good job, considering how repressive the matchup is for Zoe usually. The fact that under Sandra he's managed to get a good, like, near 30 CS lead and a kill, like, he's done very well for himself, I have to say. Very proud of how he's played the matchup.
For sure, and we have seen, like, showcases of this Zoe doing so much damage. We're going to see Hazard's caught in a bit of a bad situation. Yariat is going to slay the Nami, making a frozen fool as he does. And he's going to turn around to see a frozen fall. The power of these two falls as well. As 10 kills Prototype, and they're going to be moving towards his limit. Asteroid's going to jump in front of it down. The Short Blaze is there as well. As we're going to see the 4 members of Prototype caught up by Short Blaze's ultimate. And Jungle Difference is unstoppable. But they do manage to trade the killer over. As we're going to see Jungle Difference finally fall, getting that shutdown goal onto him as Yariat power damage. One lead, not managed to land damage though. So it's not going to be enough to bring it down, but I don't think it will be enough anyway. We're going to see the first kill for Korean Rejects going over to Asteroid on the Zoe. I said that Asteroid was going to be the saviour for Korean Rejects, and I have been proved right.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say he's been the saviour. He got a kill, cool. That's not going to be enough right now. You need to make a lot more happen, and the problem is now that you go far behind as this team who doesn't really have a lot of solid engage, like, what are you supposed to do other than watch objectives melt down? There's not really much you can do. Oh, and the water didn't get stand on.
Chasing over Korean Criminal Boy was running away, and it was 3 members of Korean Rejects. But look at those health bars. Korean Rejects just don't have much health between them anyway. Asteroid Boy is going to look for that sleep trouble, and he's going to miss. He's going to land onto a castle minion. He's going to be having a little nap as we see Asteroid moving forward for the fight. I really want to see a fight here, but there's just no tankiness over on the side of Korean Rejects. And for a team like Prototype, who's very far ahead and have high damage dealers with farm and leads, it's going to be really, really painful for them as we see Demi chasing down towards Stormslate. He's going to land a bit of a parlay, but as for the Asteroid in trouble as Criminal Boy lands the smite, lands the knockup, has the beast is there as well. It's going to be a bit of a fight. Criminal Boy using his ornament to start not doing much damage to him. Wanley's very low, Asteroid's very low. Yaris in the back. It's going to be Asteroid going down first. Wanley's going to think twice, healing a little bit there. As Stormslate comes in, pikes in. It's going to go quite low, but he's going to be able to kill himself a little bit with the ebb and flow. Yariat maybe looking to chase a little bit more, doesn't really want to. He's going to back away. It's just another kill or two going over onto the side of Prototype as they look maybe to siege in this tower, or maybe just look to link up with your boy Jungle Difference Victim in the top lane who's getting some damage on that top tower.
Yeah, to highlight how ahead Prototype are right now, Jungle Difference, who is 5-1-1 and very much probably the priority carry on the side of Prototype, didn't even need to be with his team, and they won a 4v5. That's how far ahead Prototype are right now, and now they're grabbing themselves a Grove Tower. I thought it was a Baron, but they moved this game on so fast.
There, yeah. We are not at the Baron yet, but we do see the Grove Tower going down over onto the side of Prototype. It's going to be picked up by Demi on that Gangplank, looking to get that split push. We did see a little bit of damage coming down onto Jungle Difference when Stormslays and Waterloo came up towards him. Actually, Stormslays being on the side of that damage because again using his ult, but he's going to be stunned up. It's not going to matter too much because he's a Gangplank. He didn't have Scurvy. He's going to grab the kill. Rampage for the Pirate King as it's 13-1 over to Ghost Strike.
Yeah, I mean, this is a massacre that I'm watching right now, but Korean Rejects still have hope, and you want to know why they have hope? The big thing that people are preaching about Prototype is that, yeah, sure, they have a good early game, but a lot of the times they have got through an early game well, and then come the middle late game, they've kind of crumbled. Now that they have a really good lead, I'm still not necessarily fully convinced. They have a huge lead right now. That is 12k gold. But can they close out the game? They should be able to. They should. They really should. But
it's like you should.
Yeah.
But we have. The question is though, we've seen Prototype throw away leads. Have we seen them throw away a lead this big?
I don't think they've ever had a lead this big, I'll be honest, so let's see how they do with it.
Maybe it's a case of they just won't know what to do. They have been good currently, they've been moving around the map, trying to put pressure, trying to get advantages. Demi is going to be chasing down.
Oh, Demi knows what to do.
Be on the hunt, but when he says on the hunt, he means on the retreat as Simir's going to be moving away. Not killed though, but one parlay did do about half their health, which is never really what you want to see. It's something that jumps in. Vector's going to join him, it's going to be Pikes in going down, Wally's going to follow him, not kicking down. It's going to be the Rakan grabbing that one, Rakan looking for more. Jungle Difference putting a couple more shots onto the short space. They're not going to be able to do too much. The Rakan is going to be summoned bot lane as Criminal Boy and Yariat look to stretch play into the top lane. Jungle Difference there as well. It's only going to be Hazard's Beast in the bot lane trying to defend against that. Gangplank and that Rift Roll, who's going to get a chance to inhibit the tower. Both have to be there as well. But in the top lane, we're seeing more and more pushing as the tower goes down in top lane. The inhibitor will follow, and it's only taking 20 minutes for Prototype to crack into this Korean reject base.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I think I'm now slowly getting convinced they are playing out this next few minutes very well. Where I was kind of considering the macro play could fall apart. They've split up the map well, they used Drift Help when they needed to, and now, whilst they're kind of drawing Korean Rejects away from the bot lane, look at what Gangplank's doing. He's just getting in here. Why not? Gangplank, I'll get in here, sure.
I'll get in, why not?
Wait, what are you going to do about it? Absolutely nothing.
We're going to see a fight kicking off in the mid lane. Also, it's already about half health. It's very, very low. So everyone's so low because they don't have any health. Mega's on a killing spree as they managed to take down members all over with a shot. Aurelian's down, Evelyn's down, Pikes in on the Nami's down, Hazard's is running away. Managed to get a shutdown onto Demi. Demi has fallen. That's the second kill over onto Korean Rio. Actually, Hazard's Asteroid are the only two members left. Asteroid is already pretty low. It hasn't gone back yet. Hazard's is full health and moving back. Asteroid is going to be tagged out so he can go and heal. We're seeing all three inhibitors have been taken down. We're going to see Prototype playing this one very safe. They're going to try and choke out and get everything they can on the map. The macro play is good. Are they going to be able to get that one final death punch onto the side of Korean Rejects?
Well, here's the thing. What they can do now is play it out macro-wise. You know they have a free inhibitor wave crashing into their base. So now you can just get a Baron, and I don't think they can really contest you. Mainly because they don't have a solid engage. If they had a solid engage, I would say, yeah, they actually have a chance because they could catch them out, maybe doing Baron. But if you're just doing Baron, what are they going to do about it? Realistically, like what can they do about it? Asteroid can get a bit of poke down, and they could possibly look to rush him with the Sivir. But the problem is that there's no big huge CC over the tidal wave that I'm like, okay, that'll lock them all up. And the problem is, I don't know if you have all the damage to be able to kill 1 or 2 people locked up in just the tidal wave. I don't think they have that right now.
And then they do either. Water Lily is looking to fight Mechla, but Mechla is 2 levels higher than you, Evelyn. And she realises after she puts in a couple of auto attacks and a couple of abilities, the Mechla isn't really taking any damage from any of that. Because he's gone for magic resist on that regard. He's going to just walk away saying, please don't. Please don't ruin my coat.
Oh man, it's just unfortunate because in a lot of these games there's usually like a way back for a lot of the teams, but at this point it isn't a case of Korean Regis needs to play this perfectly, it's a case of now Prototype needs to mess up badly. And it's a 15k lead. Speaking of messing up though, there is... Oh, never mind.
Oh, no, it's not going to be enough for Evelyn. Yeah, it's going to grab that kill. I saw the headlines. I saw Warren Lily steal Baron as Evelyn, but it wasn't going to be. The vision was good over onto the side of Prototype. They managed to grab the killer. Looking to lock off escape routes. Python is still going to run through that ultimate. But it's going to be Asteroid is going to take the low. Python's going to use the ultimate, but it's going to take the culling. The rest of the culling will not land over onto Asteroid, but it doesn't matter. There's so much damage coming down. Kriller Boy was actually the one to pick up Python, as it turns out. And they're just going to move into the middle. And we're going to see a TP coming down as the minions have already taken the tower, and it's 23 minutes into the game. Prototype get the win in this scrim and confirm, I think, something that we were all really thinking is that even though it was an FF from Korean Rejects initially, Prototype are definitely the better team as of now.
Yeah, and you see it just each player. I would say maybe you could argue the jungle, but I wouldn't say what Lily had the best of games whatsoever. I would say every single player mechanically and just how they played just completely outclassed Korean Rejects. And you saw that come to fruition. Demi on this Gangplank was insanely good. Jungle Difference on the Lucian got so much done alongside Megdra and the Rakan making some great engages. Yaria didn't even die once on this Sandra, was making great plays in the team fights. And Criminal Boy, whilst he didn't make that much happen on the map, I mean, he didn't get executed. He held jungle very nicely, and it was a very stable area for them to rely on. So, great play by Prototype, just to completely mechanically outclass Aside Korean Rejects.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how Prototype move on into their next game with that scrim on their belts. Can they try and bring some of the lessons forward, maybe the same kind of team comp, and take it against an opponent who's maybe slightly better macro and slightly better in terms of rank? And maybe if they can see some success in that area. But it's not over for Korean Rejects. They've still got more chances to go forward and try and win some more games over in this SQ1 Champions League for League of Legends. But I'm being told that we're going to be throwing you over to a short break now before we come back for game 2. And I say we, I mean SQ1. I don't mean me. I'm going home. But we will be seeing you very soon after a short break where we're going to have our next big match. So don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
が敵を食らう。What's wrong, Hanzo? Don't you recognize me? You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother. 友人の剣をくらえ。源氏姫、まだまだ。
silver hand. We're going to slaughter them. All of them.
There will be none left living to tell their stories.
Bring me their heads.
You can taste the fear. Some can't separate the animal from themselves. Go feral.
They want nothing more than to chase prey with their master. For eternity. I want you to seek them out. Strike them down as a true warrior of the wild. You have taken more lives than honor demanded. We take matters into our own hands.
We'll wipe them out yet.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is SQ1 Champions League Week 4, Day 1, and we are here for Korean Rejects versus ELG. I am your play-by-play caster for today, Duckling, and with me I have Blade.
I don't have to switch lobbies anymore.
Hey! There has been
Yay.
some confusion about the cast game today. We are sorry for the apologies. We are now about to get into the game, but if we focus on that, we have Korean Rejects, we just saw lose quite heavily, we could say the least, to Prototype, and they're now going up against ELG, who are a quite high-rated team. Let's be honest. We all expect good things from them. They have looked good. So what can we expect from this game?
So I'm trying to stay positive here. I hope to a certain extent that Korean Rejects can turn this around, that they might actually do an upset and get their 1-7. Because they deserve it, man. They're just in here for the fun at this point, and I just want to see them win once. They are such just good people, but I do have a strong feeling that ELG is probably gonna take this home.
Okay, so we're looking at it, and it's clear to see ELG are the favorites. If you just look at ranks,
Yep,
they are a lot higher ranked, and obviously this doesn't mean the game entirely. You could have good macro play as a lower rated team, but from what we've seen from Korean Rejects, it looks definitely tough.
Yeah, that's the little problem that we do have to face. But I mean, I stay hopeful, you know. I mean, I like him. I like to see Korea Rejects play. We have seen some good plays from them now and then. I did like the mid laner from last game who was on the Zoe against.
Yeah, he ain't here.
Yeah, I know, but he played very well. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm impressed with that. And bot wasn't even that bad. We saw Pikeson play on the Nami, and he had some pretty good moves. The only problem is that he was a lot of times out of position to where either Rakan or Lucian could heavily punish him when he tried to go in for the W. And that just set them back so much. Like, bot's position was such a problem, and top was just unfortunate.
Top lane was
Unfortunate.
one special lane to watch, we can say the least.
wa-
Obviously, we're looking at the small positives here for Korean Rejects. Every small win is a win for them. When they're 0-7, just showing improvement is probably the best thing to do right now. If you can improve week to week and not get stomped, like we saw the last game, they were 10k behind in 15 minutes. If you cannot do that, maybe just be 5k behind. That's actually a huge improvement. So we might hope to see some improvement here. It is going to be tough against our boys ELG. I do want to point out, though, that Hidekari has been benched. We've seen him before. We've seen him at Proving Grounds and the first few weeks, and now he has been benched for Rixie coming in. And we've looked at Rixie. We haven't seen him play on the stream or anything, of course, before, but we've looked at him. And one thing, Blade, that we found out, do you know this? He plays carry top laners as well.
Yeah, I do. That's one of the things I did know. I'm just so happy to see that Bjork Shaka. Wait. Jeez, I can't say his name. DX and then Bjork Shaka is finally joining us. That's his actual summoner. Don't judge me. I have been waiting to see him. This means that Water Lily has been moved back to the bot lane, and he will be back on jungle with House of Beast in the mid lane. And yeah, I just love to see this. Like, everyone's back from the team that we have seen a lot of the times before. However, again, as you said, this is going to be a very hard matchup. We do know that Snipe and Reform Johnny can do so many beautiful plays. Even Salite, we have seen him play a few times. And I remember when he played a Thresh a few weeks ago, and it was absolutely criminal.
Oh yeah, those things can be beautiful when they're played right. And we are heading into the big ban phase now. One thing that I actually want to see if we get banned. We looked at the stats from the last week. 3 champs were really, really high pick ban rate, and those were Lissandra, Urgot, and Lucian. Both were picked or banned in 11 out of 12 games. Let's see if they get banned here. Obviously, we do have to point this out, Korean Rejects has lost their first 3 bans. That is why you don't see any bans from them so far. And that was because of all the unfortunate things. But if I am not mistaken, ELG has not banned a champion as well. This is confusing me a bit, but I am not sure here.
This might either be one of two things. If this is done intentionally, this might be A, just underestimating KRR and just thinking, "Oh, we'll win anyway, no matter what we ban or pick. It doesn't matter." Or it's like a pity play where, okay, they don't have any bans, we won't ban anything else. If they do decide to ban, I expect, because they have so much priority right now, they are on the blue side, so they have first pick.
They did ban.
Yeah, they banned Soraka for Water Lily. For the people who don't know, Water Lily is a very experienced Soraka player in the support role. So I do understand why they took that. However, normally I would say here that we would see a ban from the Urgot, or at least a ban from like an Ezreal or maybe Lissandra, because those champions are still very high rated still. However, Korean rejects cannot ban anything, and they don't have the priority because they are on the red side. So ELG can just pick whatever they like without any consequence. So they could just ban like Corki, for example, and we know that nobody on the side of KR plays him. Like Rakan, it's a very weird pick at the moment because he got nerfed so much. He isn't actually really good anymore in the support role, barely played, or not as much. Not by Water Lily at least. So I think they just did this to get something out of the way that they just don't want to face in general. And yeah.
Well, Kanto has a few strengths, of course. When he also W's, those are still pretty good, but it's definitely not the old Rakan. He is pretty horrible at the moment. I can say myself. I played him in rank yesterday. I could never hit a W because it took like 5 seconds to get there. But besides that point, we are now looking that the first pick phase has begun, and we start with the first pick, of course, from ELG. The pick of the Lucian. We talked about him being high pick ban rate. What can this pick do for you in the game?
I mean, it's Lucian. We know that Lucian is such a strong bot lane early pick, especially in the hands of a very capable EDC like we're from Johnny. And they just need something to help Lucian engage or help them poke him out. I would expect to see here something like an Alistar that can just full ham engage like level 2, level 3, or something like a Thresh that can just throw out a hook and you get a barrage of bullets from Lucian in your face. Something like this. And I do like, however, that Korean Reject is going for the Kai'Sa because Lucian has that instant dash that can make it so hard to dodge things or that can help them with a full engage. Whereas Kai'Sa has that dash as well that allows you to actually disengage when Lucian comes in. So it's a bit of a more defensive pick where Korean Rejects might want to go to the late game. Nunu is just an overall okay pick at the moment. I haven't seen it played yet, but Nunu has been climbing the tiers as of late. I've seen him more in ranked. He has been appearing more on the high-low elo charts. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see him get played.
Yeah, Nunu's actually a super exciting pick. That makes me kind of happy. I really want to see what this guy can do. And last game, Korean Rejects picked Zoe. No, they ELG won't be good. But the Yasuo instead, he is super strong at the moment.
I do hope that on the side of ELG, they go for something AP-ish, because otherwise, I expect this Jarvan to go jungle, first of all. I don't expect anything to go top as much, because we know that jungle Jarvan has been going up in priority even in the LEC, which is just a very good pick in general. And Yasuo has been very strong since the rework of the crit items. So this is going to be a very strong lined pick on the side of ELG. They have a very nice mid game with the Lucian and the Jarvan, who is also viable around the mid game. And then they have Yasuo, who, if he gets fed, like we saw on Perks against Fnatic in the LEC. Oh no, it was not Fnatic, but
not Fnatic.
When Perks did get fed on that Yasuo, and it just hurt so much. And this is what I said before as well. We see the Urgot pick here. Urgot still probably the S tier top laner, in my opinion, in anywhere. You see him picked everywhere. LEC, LCS, LPL, just everywhere. He's so high on priority. And I just hope that Korean Rejects takes a engaged tank. They are gonna need it against this team. It doesn't need to be anything super OP, but they do need something like maybe a Nautilus, a Scion, something that can soak up a bit damage from that Lucian, from that Yasuo, or otherwise you will just get one shot by the damage. And the Lulu on the bench is purely for Yasuo, because when Yasuo wants to go in, you just W, you Q, and you laugh your ass off.
Yeah, although Nemi has been picked, so the ban is kind of there to see, but obviously flex pick can be taken to the maximum. You could do anything basically with a pick. And Garen has been picked, a champion that is just solid, easy to play. but also super good. Like you are so tanky. Obviously has counterplay, but your ult does a good amount of damage basically, and you're a good tank. And
There
that
we
is some
go.
of the front line you wanted, Blade, that they just picked up.
Yes. Garen does a ton of damage still, even though if he goes full tank. I do want to announce Lulu though. Lulu could have gone mid lane. If you
Oh
look
yeah,
at
that's
Korean
right.
rejects, they have not picked a mid, and I have seen some AP Lulus against things like a Talon, I think against things like a Yasuo, because it counters them so hard. It's so hard to kill a mid lane Lulu when you're something like a Zed or a Yasuo or Talon, which are very meta right now. And I'm so happy on the side of ELG to see an AP in the top. They needed a little bit AP damage, and that Rumble is just coming through. And again, ELG has such a streamlined comp. I do not know for my god that this is a Jarvan a support.
Wait, are we seeing the AP
We are
Jarvan
seeing the
support?
Jarvan AP support.
Oh
It
my god,
has to.
no.
Come
Wait,
on,
see
come on.
that is holding. Oh my god, yes, we're getting the AP Jarvan support, ladies and gentlemen. This is a thing that I have seen Spirit play in the LCK, and that is an unconventional pick. But we are seeing it. You go to Summoner Area, you go Ardent Sensor, and you're basically a better Rakan after the nerfs. At least that is what I have gotten out of information diving into this pick, and I really wanted to see it, and now we're actually seeing it. This is super hype, boys.
Oh, the
Um,
comp coming through. I'm so happy. Yeah, of course. I mean, if you look at the side of Korean Rejects, they did need that tank. If they would have got something squishy, like a good Rumble ultimate with the Yasuo ultimate, or like a Jarvan QE with Yasuo just breaks through the whole lineup. We see LeBlanc that can easily get away. If like Nami does a bubble somewhere, Kaisa can jump away. They have a lot of mobility and strength on the side of Korean Rejects right now that allows them to have a very strong mid to late game with the Kaisa, with the Nunu. I do wonder, however, if this Nunu is going to go AP or tank, because I actually think there is a case to be made here for some extra damage. However, I doubt they will go AP Nunu because he's going to be very squishy, and with the amount of damage that the side of ELG can bring, it's going to be very difficult to make it work.
ELG has a lot of damage, especially early game damage on the Olaf and Lucian. But these picks, this is so interesting. We can also point out that you see Garen has decided to go for the Ignite instead of the Teleport. Not as team play oriented, but obviously good for trying to get an early game lead. But if you don't quite work it out, it's gonna be hard. But Blade, do you know how to play this Jarvan AP bot lane support? I am so excited for this pick.
Yes, I actually do. It's not that hard even because you just level your E, you build AP with it. So you start with the AP support, with the blue support item, and then you just, as you said yourself, you go into Ardent Sensor, and it does so much damage. I've played with it, I've played against it, and I have played as the ADC with the Jarvan support because a friend of mine likes to whip it out once in a while, and you just E. That's all you do. Hold anything. It has such a high range. It gives you extra attack speed if you want to go in, and it just pokes. It pokes. It pokes. It pokes. It pokes. That's all it does. And with your W, you shield like a lot of people around you, which of course is better with the Ardent Center and with the Airy. So you have so much shielding that can be done constantly. It's not amazing because the Nami will have the range advantage here, and she can heal up any early poke that the Lucian might try to bring on the Kaisa, which is a good choice on the side of Korean Rejects. So they can try to bring Kaisa to this late game. However, in the mid to the early game, I think Korean Reject is going to struggle so much. You know, Rumble is good against the Garen because of the continuous burn on his flamethrower. Garen can, of course, silence it, which is a trick I hope Pikeson knows, that when Rumble starts with a flamethrower, you Q, and it cancels out the flamethrower. So you can mitigate a lot of damage that way. You just press your W, spin, and deal a whole lot of damage back without taking much in return because you heal everything back up. I'm just excited for this match all around because I think Korean Reject actually has a very good comp.
Yeah, I am just still kind of empty for words of the Jarvan pick.
The Jarvan pick.
But the draft looks better this time for Korean Rejects. Last time didn't look too spicy. This time it actually looks like a competition. Obviously mostly focused around the late game. Garen becomes a huge tank in the late game. Nunu as well if he goes for the tanky route, of course. LeBlanc can do some hefty damage late game, and a Kaiser late game is always need to have, especially with Anami on this side.
I mean, the problem with the last game was I am a big fan of something tanky on top. Doesn't matter if it's an Urgot, doesn't matter if it's a Scion, doesn't matter if it's a Maokai. I just love something tanky on the top side. And that's not because I'm against full damage comps, because I have seen them make it work. It's because in the late game, when there's one good team fight for the opponent, all your damage will be gone. You will miss like 3 damage dealers, and then they will have a tank that can soak up all the other damage that the opposing team will try to bring. Now, this is a lot better. They didn't have any engage. Yes, they had the Aurelia, but the Aurelia got outclassed, and that was a major problem for them. I think if they would have taken something like the Darius instead of the Aurelia, maybe an Urgot or the Scion or whatever, then they might have had a lot better chance, because top Gangplank does want to go to the late game, but because you can soak up that much damage and poke it back continuously, you can at least go even in the laning phase to where you can have a nice gank from the Evelyn last game. It might not have won them the game, but it would have made maybe a little bit of difference in terms of pushing and pressure on the map, which I think we will see here.
It could potentially be, but we are in the loading screen now. I can inform. This is the story of a team that has never won a game in the SQ1. The only game they've won in the qualifiers was 3 free wins. So if they need to try and get a comeback and get a foothold in this league, they just lost to Prototype, another team at the bottom of the table. If they want to try and get back and get something, they need wins. And it's going to be a tough win against for them if they want to try and upset ELT. But if the upset is there, it could be huge for them. But obviously, we have ELT as a huge favorite, and it's going to be tough to see another outcome.
I mean, I think everyone wants to see Korean Rejects win a game at this point. Like, they are the massive underdogs, and what a game it would be if they would be able to just win against one of the pretty much higher teams right now in the league. ELG is considered one of the best as we have right now, and I just want to see them win a game, just to like have them feel that feeling that they won. Yeah, it's
it could definitely boost your mental. Like winning against ELD will boost your mental massively. Like basically winning against anyone as Korean Rejects at the moment will boost your mental massively.
I do have to say, however, I'm not the biggest fan of the LeBlanc in mid on the side of Korean Rejects because of the Yasuo. He has that wind wall that stops your Q, stops your E, and I don't see is not the most experienced Yasuo player, but it's not that hard to see when a LeBlanc wants to engage. I think it might have been better if they would have taken something like the Malzahar that was open. It's a known Yasuo counter. It can lock down like Slide or Reform Johnny. Something like the Morgana to deny the knockup that will enable Yasuo to use that ultimate. And even protect Sean Slays a little bit, so he can make it to the late game a little bit safer and maybe go full off on the mid to late game. And LeBlanc seems maybe like a little bit of a weird pick to me. If he doesn't roam, the pick is gonna not be worth as much.
Yeah, and we do see this first skirmish, kind of just the first setup of lines going into this game. Sealight has gone to Summoner area. He knows how to play this game. He is farming the gold currently with the.
Yep.
Yeah, the spell fix is giving him some gold. Obviously, the hotfix has come through, so he can't play in the solo lane. He is close to teammate level, and he gets the gold. And Snap also hit one with his Q.
Yeah, but he doesn't get gold from that.
He doesn't get gold for that, but he does get a bit of damage. Water Lily has still taken like 50 damage for it. It's not really anything, but you know, just a few things worth mentioning.
I mean, the thing what I did very much like to see here was we saw the damage that the E from Jarvan can bring and the range that it has. This was only level 1, so it has such a high range, and it just is able to break you in 2 at the later stages, because that's the first ability of Vault. It's around Q, EW, and then E, and more E. Like, look at that. That's just annoying range. And Nami can heal it up, but I doubt she will be able to match the amount of damage that he can continuously bring to the table.
Yeah, and I have been informed that our spectator has been disconnected from the game. He will reconnect. There was a bug, I have been told, and he will get back into the game in 2 seconds. So you guys will be able to see it then. I can inform so far, though, nothing special. Sealight has been poking with his flag and drag, basically. And it is helping a bit. in the laning phase, but there is nothing been too special going on so far. Sealite though is looking for level 2 gank in the bot lane. No, wait, I just forgot this. I saw the Jarvan and my mind got bamboozled. He is bamboozling me. And I just got pranked. But we are working on getting back into the stream. So far 100 gold lead. Massive lead already.
Actually, look at the mid lane. Olaf's
Oh
making
wait, a bot lane is going in actually. Water lead just died. You all missed first blood thanks to Jarvan support. That was nice.
This is the annoying thing. If you have a Jarvan support against you, you better hope you have a Soraka or something, or like something tanky that can soak up that damage, because he will spam that E. Yes, it's a little bit mana heavy, but that's why you take the blue support item. And yeah, something like Delusion also has that huge amount of range that can easily just continue up on that damage, which is so nasty. Oh, in the jungle now.
Yeah, Snipe is invading onto DX. DX will have to flash away. Snipe follows up with a flash. Biggest snowball ever does not get him away, and he falls down. We're still on back into the game, but I can inform you that happened on the top side of the red side jungle. And that is the game stage so far. It is not looking good for Korean Rejects. Already 1,000 gold down.
I do want to say Pyxen is making a huge misplay right now. He knows that the Olaf is inside the jungle because he flashed the Gad after the Nunu and Willem. And he is so far pushed in. He should know this. He saw him go in. He doesn't have a ward. He does have wards up, so he can ward. But he is not doing it. Like, as we see here, Snipe can just easily go after him, which he's doing right now.
Yeah, C is also fading, has a beast on the other end of the map. Flashes forward, gets the kill, and then the top lane pikes in, might go down, no, the biggest
wait.
ever from
Is this a return?
It might turn it onto Snipe, no, he picks up one before he falls down. Now Reach, he has to get away from DX. He is running, and the trade ends there. I can see him stream well, very far behind. The spectator is going over to the live venue. He just needs to press the plus button a few times, and we will be there. The inconvenience is unfortunate with the problems, but we should be back just about now, and welcome to the game, you can see. A lot of action has been happening in the early game. DX will still away blue buff. Something, I guess, for them to get back. They're already 2,000 gold behind. This is mad.
I mean, this is not even bad play at this point. This is just about being greedy and not paying attention to the map. Beast should know that he will not win this against Yasuo, so he play a little bit more defensive. Blacksin should have seen that gank coming all the way down from London, I don't know what. He was thinking, you could see that, I mean, even I know that he flashed in, he would go for the Gromp. For the stone things, I don't know what they called at the moment, and then just move towards the top, and he was fully pushed into the opponent's storage. That's not okay.
Oh wait, Sealight, he's gonna steal the Grump. He steals the Grump with the flag and just walks away.
And again, we see Pyxen go in here. He has no vision on the river whatsoever, and we do see that Snipe is coming in with with the Olaf.
Yeah, in comes Snipe. He has everything up. The crypto has been popped. A silence won't do much for him as there's a fight on the bottom as well. Water Lily goes down there as performs and he picks it up. And it already looks super tough for Korean Rejects, and Reformed Giant and see that actually go in on Sean Place. Here comes DX, the biggest snowball ever, but will it be big enough to turn around the fight? He misses it completely.
Gonna die.
And now he's just gonna die. Feeds himself, actually might not have feed him. Reformed Giant picks up another one, actually Sealight takes him. And they both survive just barely. Reformed Giant survives barely as they pick up 3 kills in this bottom lane.
Oh, this is... No, this feels like they're just done and want to end. I mean, I saw how they could find a way, but Sean Slade was under 12 to 13% HP. We know that Pyxen is not paying attention to the map for like 1%. He's just not looking. He saw this coming. He should know that he has to ward in the river. It's an Olaf with Predator. If as soon as you see that Predator button pop up and you're over your half of the map, that's only death for you. You have no way of escaping unless you run out and have your flash available. He is overextending so much, giving 3 kills away. Mid is now listening though. Mid is playing pretty defensive.
Yeah, trying at least,
Yeah.
but C is
Yeah.
a god as his club text is. Picks up another solo kill. Beautiful, yeah, so played with him.
He spam thinks the question mark in the mid. I mean, this was a mistake from Hasbeast. He got out of range when the first tornado hit, and he should just have stayed in the back, not have jumped back to his illusionary self. And yeah, I don't see. I mean, this is almost 6k. We're 7 minutes in game. Like, Garen has no damage yet, and he
Yeah, and he still does damage for some reason. He almost solo kills Water Lily, and now with him, then he backs him up to take the kill on Strong Face. Water Lily has to flash away to stay alive, but the flag and drag gets the kill.
He's gonna die.
Will die though. Where's the shutdown? No, it wasn't a shutdown, but Water Lily at least gets a kill back.
I mean, we know
the 1,000 behind.
Rixie has the Haunting Guise, which allows him to deal 2% more damage for each second that he's in combat, and kind of burn the opponent. Like, Pyxen goes in, not badly played, but because he goes in that far, Rumble can just use it as flamethrowers and deal more damage back than got dealt. If Korean Reject spikes in, doesn't play safe, heal up, and then go in again, he will actually lose.
Yeah, it's tough looking at this game for Korean Reject side. We are 8.5 minutes in, almost 9. It looks super tough for them currently.
I mean,
Pyxen is doing his best.
They had such a good team comp to where, I mean, with the Battle LeBlanc of course, but such a good team comp to where they could play safe-ish.
Oh, they're going in again. See that? Managing their side to the tower here. As Rixie dies on the other end. Community get a few kills back.
A bit of overconfidence maybe here on this side of CLG. We also saw that the Olaf and the Yasuo were moving in for maybe an engage on the turret to try and dive him. I think that's why the Jarvan maybe tried to move in. He miscommunicated and went too far, so they could just easily counter him up. And again, we see that Pyxen does not have any good vision for that Olaf. He has a little bit in front of the Baron Pit, but then again, if the Olaf reaches that Baron Pit and presses Predator, you are gonna be dead. And yeah, at this point, I mean, mid can freely push because... Oh!
Comes in, misses the flag and drag just barely, and they survive.
Yeah, I still keep with it that I don't agree with this LeBlanc pick into the Yasuo. It's such a negative matchup, especially when you are behind in experience. And I mean, there's a 2-level difference only in mid because Yasuo just pretty much got a free pushing lane. This is, yeah. It's gonna be hard to deal enough damage to get rid of those.
Ricky is invading. It hasn't been fun. As the red carpet comes out and he will fall even though he eats a minion and now has a beast falls as well. It was his last breath as the red carpet picked him up. That definitely equalized the team of Korean Rejects. It is tough for them.
Yeah, as I said before, ELG has such a good early to mid game team comp. They have the Yasuo that is actually pretty strong in the mid to early game against something like a LeBlanc, against something like a Zoe, because he has that Blood Wall out. They have...
Whoa, Reform Johnny has a lot of damage. He takes on the 1v2. Can he get the kill? The Tide Wave has missed. He picks up Sean Place. Can he get another one? If Water Lily is running, but it won't quite be enough. It will actually if he survives.
No, that's a Jarvan.
With no income, see that he will pick up the kill and will survive. The turn damage is not doing enough. And that's a win for the side of ELG. That bot lane fight. Reform didn't pick up 1 kill in a 1v2. See that came to take the other one. This Jarvan support is interesting to see the least, and I mean, it has been one heck of a game.
Props to ELG for not even letting them go to the mid to late game, but then again, it's just really props to ELG. I really want Korean Rejects to have a game, I really do, but at this point it more feels like the Tyler one running it down mid before he got reformed. It doesn't look good at all for them.
Yeah, it looks so tough. They're almost 10k behind at 12 minutes. It's like 400, 9,400, 500, 600. It is so close, and Korean Rejects is trying to get everything they can to just get some gold in their pockets.
But not only that, look at the level difference. So top is even, jungle is 2 levels behind on the side of Korean Rejects, mid is 2 levels behind on the side of Korean Rejects, ADC is 2 levels behind on the side of Korean Rejects.
Yeah, but hold that thought as Riki. will get ganked on. He just tries to try and get away. The biggest snowball ever misses again. The equalizer has been put down as he flashes away. He has overheated, but he will pick up a kill on Pikes. No, he flashes away. The absolute zero will do some damage. This will be the kill for Hazard. He picks up one with the shutdown. He used the mimic and everything to get in there. Now C and C-Light is here to do some assistance. The biggest snowball tries to run away, but it won't be enough. As we from sitting on the other end of the map, tries to pick up one and Lily in another 1v2. Just allow them to show face, no one will fall. Now a beautiful 2-man's last breath and a cataclysm from C-Light, and C takes down 2 kills. That will be 2 kills for the support. Now Snipe is still trying diving with the Ragnarok as action is happening all over the map. He picks up 1 kill with the undertow. What a snipe! As Snipe snipes someone and picks up a double kill as he takes down Sean Place. As everyone across the map just dies.
I mean, I don't think that this will be a 15-minute game. However, I think we can promise at this point that this will be a 20-minute game, which I think will be the fastest game that we've had so far in the league. Because isn't that the fastest that we had so far in the league?
No, I think the last game was the fastest game we've had. I don't have the exact stats. I don't have a team telling those in my ears. I would love to know actually. We'll have to find out. We can come back to you guys with that.
That
After
will
the
be
game maybe? I don't know.
that will be a fun stat if we can get it from the team that
Yeah.
with us to see what the fastest game time was, and it's either gonna be the last one. So if they can check what the last game's time was, then we can see if they can beat it, because for sure they hold the record for the. Yeah, I don't know if you want that record, but they hold the record for the fastest game ever to be over on our SQ1 esports tournament. But yeah, there's nothing to call against here. It's just they're so far behind that the only way they might be able to win is if they steal a Baron and all 5 of them make it out to where they have that pressure on all 3 lanes, so they cannot take it. It cannot take the towers, cannot do as much damage as they would like to, and farm up a bit to where the level difference might get mitigated a little. That's the only thing that I can see. But if they take this Rift Herald, they will just put it on mid, 5-man mid, and they will
now
win.
he gets put though. He does get hit by 1 chain. In comes Paxton, spinning to winning and igniting. He does have the big sword to put down, but he won't put it down yet as he gets knocked down. A beautiful last breath. Reform, then he comes in and picks up someone, and now that's a double kill for Reform. Then he's absolutely zero in that fight. Oh, then he slows some opponents down. He devours someone, but it won't be anything too huge as he doesn't kill too much. DX will go down. Reform, then he picks up as a piece on the other end of the map, and Sean Face is the only survivor.
This
This game.
Yeah, because that's a Rift Herald. We might see the first dancing Rift Herald.
Yeah,
No,
because you're dancing with her.
Yeah, this might be the first dancing Rift Herald we're gonna see on SQ1. So for the people that don't know, a Rift Herald will dance if it helps take down Nexus.
Yeah, Sean Face is gonna get taken down. He gets hit by a second directly. Killer instincts 1 second. C-Light gets saved by the No, we won't see a dancer today. I just want to say this. Any admin, can you give us the shortest, the quickest game in this tournament, because we want to see if this can beat the Victor.
I mean, I'm pretty convinced that this will be the shortest game time, because last game was about, I think, 23 minutes. I'm fairly sure that was about the time. And this is, I mean, it takes 1 more engage, and this is over. The Astro is so fast.
You're a bit too far forward.
A bit, I think, like a mile or 2 to far forward. Like, the Lucian is 8-0, the Yasuo is 4-0. You don't engage like that. It's they are over 17k behind.
Yeah, Paxton is gonna go down here. He's too far forward. The Steel Tempest helps him take down. Snipe steals it with a snipe of an ignite. Oh, not an ignite. A smite. And I do have some set info to you guys. I have been informed that our staff team is not Google, and sadly can't find the quickest game for us. We won't find it now, but I'm sorry, guys.
We will have it up for next cast, though. We can talk about the fastest game.
We'll try to find it.
Oh wait, I might be able to find it. I need like 1 minute. I hope I can get it.
Just 1 second. Hassel Beast will go down here. He just stands as C-Line. The support is 7-2. An AP job, man. And now one Lily will fall because I had been used. Snipe picks up that kill. He's ramped.
That's one, that fish. Looks like
now they're looking to end the game. I don't know if it's the quickest game. Paxton is dancing. DX is standing, and there is nothing Korean Rejects can do as they lose this game quicker than I
win
think
this
we've ever seen before, and DLG take the win.
Okay,
And
it's 17:30. I'm gonna come. Okay, so I'm gonna look it up actually. The last game that they have played with against PRT was, let me check. Okay, 17:30 was over 21 minutes, and I'm fairly sure that there wasn't a game that has been over faster than this. So I'm gonna call it now that I think this game on 17 and 30 seconds is the fastest game that has yet been played here at our tournament.
ooh, yeah, see, that is something I like to hear. These interesting stats. Nothing much to say about the game. I will look at the damage percentage. I like how Javin did more damage than
The whole team.
than Rumble and the jungler that AP
No, no,
Javin.
no. He outscaled, like, okay, so for the people that can see, the Garen damage was 5,675. He was the one that did the most damage on the side of Korean rejects. The Jarvan's damage was 8,612. That's 3,000 more damage than their top laner. The one that did the least amount of damage on the side of ELG was the Olaf with 5,081, which still outdamaged 4 of the 5 members from Korean Rejects as a jungler. This is not okay. They didn't even go past the like 12k mark. This is just no.
Baron didn't even spawn.
Baron didn't even spawn.
It
Yeah.
was a tough game, and OGK I said in chat, it was 92 versus Fnatic, and hurts me a bit, but it's
Yeah,
if I comment.
I mean that's a game I'd like to see back. You know, that was a
No,
fun
no,
game.
let's not talk about this 92. We aren't leg casters currently. We need to focus
Ah,
on this game and just quickly round it
unfortunate.
out. Korean rejects were obliterated in the quickest game, most likely, of the split so far. Korean rejects have a lot of work to do if they try to want to pick up a win. The Java support worked out. It was a fun game to watch, not if you're on the side of Korean rejects. But I think it's time for me and Blade to round off here today, unless Blade has anything to say at last.
I didn't have to change lobbies again. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
close with what I opened. I didn't have to
Okay.
change. Yeah.
That is it for us today here at SQ1. We thank each and every one of you for coming and watching. We'll be here again tomorrow for some exciting games with some of the top teams. I hope we will see you all then. It is 9 p.m. Central European time. See you all then.
Bye bye.